back. Woo! My name's Rob. Hello, welcome to the Wargamer. I'm joined by Mr. Joe Krier, the Goonhammer article specialist. Not to be confused with Joe Krier, the emo who I know. Completely different people.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck
that
guy. Fuck that guy. So I'm doing a show tomorrow, like I do every day, Stream Street. I'm airbrushing some terrain right now. That's where I'm at. I'm not actually started airbrushing yet. I've got to clean the airbrush parts first. Apparently, something new I learned. And then we were like, cool.
Choking on some orange juice.
On this sweet-ass orange juice. So, but some FAQs have come out. Some FAQs have come out for Daughters of Khaine and Slaanesh. Me and Joe were like, fuck it, let's talk about it. Also, some spicy new rules have come out for the Rumineth Rue Lords. So we just thought, we'd just be like, do you know what? Let's just bang this conversation live on Twitch and talk to you guys. Oh, no.
So, Owen today?
No, Owen. No, it says Joe. This is Joe. This is Joe, not Owen.
Hams fans calling me Owen. Makes it I'll take it, man. Better than me. That's for sure.
Oh, that's not true. So what up, Twitch chat? Marcus Rock, Gitley, Hams fans and Warchebby, Leadfoot, what's going on? Podcast bros, hope you're well. YouTube guys, I want you to smash like and subscribe. Go back on every video ever. Leave a comment. Hit that like button. I need all of that love. If you don't do it, you're dead to me. You are dead to me. Appreciate you. Right, so yeah, we're going to talk about these things. Joe, before we quickly, Joe, are you well? What's going on?
Yeah. Nope, I'm good. I've been up since 8 p.m. last night, but I slept the last 2 days in a row. So I'm good. I'm just running around. Went for a walk this morning, and then it started raining. And I was walking in the rain, like that Joe Krier emo fucker, you know?
Hate that guy.
Classic.
Right. So let's talk about this. So the 2 FAQs. Encore GM, thank you for resubscribing. Owen Jackson in the chat, get your emotes out for the lads, please. That's what I want to see. Right, so Joe, who's been writing excellent articles, by the way, on Goonhammer. Obviously, the Goonhammer editors have kind of taken all the spice out of it, and have just, where Joe's like, this is rubbish, they've changed it to competitively middle, stuff like that. Basically, an extension of Warcom now. But Joe, Daughters of Khaine, Twitch chat, I also want all your hot takes. Daughters of Khaine, Slaanesh, what were we expecting, really? What FAQ stuff did we really know? As far as I was aware, one of the major issues for Slaanesh was the commandability on Glottos or Scolian. That was quite important because it was a little weirdly worded as to how he was going to generate heal wounds on his commandability. And then Heartrender going up by a rend, and I was expecting nothing else. Or is there a whole bunch of outstanding stuff that you think needed to be addressed before we get into it?
The Celeste Coast needed to be addressed if it was playable or not, and then the Shadow Patrol from Daughters of Khaine.
What was wrong with that?
To be if it was applied to every unit in the battalion, or if it was just one like it used to be. Which it sounds like it's, since it wasn't touched, it sounds like it's every unit in the battalion now instead of just one. Which is a pretty big buff. And then not besides the Celeste Coast for Slaanesh, it was also the Wrath of the Everchosen factions, if those were still going to be playable or not.
Yeah. Big shout out to Mamdare in the chat. It's his birthday, so if we could all throw some love over to Dayton from Party of the All Points, that's Mamdare in the chat.
What is he, 70 now? What's he doing?
Somewhere, he's got the face. He's got the face of a 28-year-old and the body of a really buff 24-year-old. So that's what he's got.
Yep, the same. Have you seen his golden booty shorts?
I've seen him, and I loved him. Real Mr. Winters, what up, baby? There we go. So, yeah, I think one of the things that maybe people were hoping for was some Slaanesh points drops. I think I've never seen a battle tome have such a variety of opinion thrown at it when it comes to the points. There's been some pretty middle of the road voices saying that they think it's okay. No one has said that it's brilliant points wise, but a lot of well, I don't think there's. My point is the gamut runs from it's okay to the points are pretty rough. Maybe you could bring the points down. I mean, if they'd have brought to be honest, if they'd brought the points down of 10 points of everything in this FAQ, we'd have maybe cried because that's not enough, I think. But I'm on that side of the argument. I don't know. Would you have
Right.
expected some points this early?
Since there has been no data for the last over a year, I didn't expect much. So the fact that we didn't get anything in that regard is not surprising at this point. So
can we just shout out Elite 4 Blue in the chat? That's actually Liam. Joe, you and Liam definitely in for the run-in for biggest emos of Age of Sigmar. I expect both of you to potentially start a band at some point, which I think would be just pièce de résistance.
I guess the only question is that, Liam, like, which emo cover band are we going to be? Is the real question.
I'll dance for Dayton because it's his birthday. Right, okay. So, it was always a pipe dream to see points changing 4 weeks later, FAQ. Marcus Rock, I super agree with you. I also think you're a little legend. So thanks for being in the chat. What up, Owen Jackson? Gitley says 69 viewers, then no one else join. If you've just joined, leave. I don't want you here. This is perfect. Yeah.
It's always NCR for these.
Is Elite 4 Blue Hayden? Hayden's also gorgeous, but he keeps all of his email on the inside. So if...
where it belongs, bottled up.
Right, okay. Let's talk about them. I've got the FAQs up. Let's stop just like handshaking all day. Tristan, what up? Big love to you. So the Daughters of Khaine FAQ. We'll go through this. Probably, I mean, everything else is not a big deal. This Calibron one that you might see a bunch of people emotionally react to and then realize they're wrong is that it's delete the final sentence on the Calibron Master the Shadow Pass, which is the command ability, which allows you to do a teleport. This unit cannot move in the next movement phase. That's been struck off, and that's because the command ability is done at the end of the movement phase, and therefore it doesn't matter. They can't move again.
That's actually like what my notes is on it is like, why is this here? Like, why did they put it in there? Because it doesn't actually apply to anything.
Yeah,
like you can move beforehand if you wanted to, but if you're just gonna teleport anyway, like, why?
Just teleport. That's fine. Yeah, right. So that's good. So if nothing else, just a nice clerical change. I like a good clerical change. That's at least fine. So then everything else is pretty much meh. Because there's stuff that's missing, but probably this one. Mr. Benjamin Sav is actually coming on the show tomorrow to have a long conversation about this particular singular change. Prayers. Oh. Yeah, I know. Wild.
That one's actually, that's actually the biggest, I think, change in this FAQ is the prayers.
It's dominantly, it's a dominant, significant change, right? It's
massive. Yeah.
It's huge. Do you want to explain how prayers worked for Daughters of Khaine before, previously?
Yeah, so I think because when I did my Slaanesh article, I went over how many different abilities the Hags actually had compared to the wizards from the Slaanesh book, and they were putting out 4 to 5. I think 5 was the max, maybe 4 different prayers in a turn that your opponent couldn't interact with. So they would just do their abilities, they would just go off or not if you rolled a 1 or 2, but there were just abilities that would just happen all the time, and there was nothing that you could do about it. And you would have 3 to 4 of these per character on the table. And now that you're limited to 1, including the War Scroll ones, Khorne's just kind of laughing at you. Which, when Khorne's better than you,
so there was another clarification as well in here. This is in the next one when we go to it. That the endless prayers or the invocations don't count as a prayer. Yeah. So a Khorne priest can do its War Scroll spell its War Scroll prayer and additional prayer, or both. Is it both?
Oh,
both.
Yep.
It can do both, and then it can do an evocation on top of it. So the access to 3. Now, I think there's a really, really good conversation about how effective priests are in Age of Sigmar. I mean, it makes loads of sense that they're effective because they literally can see the gods. It's it's super real. They're there they are. I'm really rolling. But I think the fact that a lot of people don't really love the prayer bit necessarily because obviously you can't counter prayer. So there's no unbinding or anything like that. It feels like they're just rolling it. It's quite effective, really. The negative isn't massive. You roll a 1, you take 1 or D3 more wounds, depending. So it's not really...
Normally they got rerolls and their abilities are on par, if not the same as spells anyway. So like the spells are harder to get off and can be stopped usually, and then the prayers on the other hand do more or less the same thing, but can't be stopped, and usually on a cheaper platform, which is weird.
So is the sheet? I think that's all that says. Can you try to explain the DOK priest change? Can you cast a prayer and wake up the avatar? Yes. The issue is you can only do one prayer. That's the change. Yeah. Previously you could do several, and now you can do one. And that is... See, what's interesting, like, the point is, and Daughters of Khaine players will be upset about this, and I think quite rightly so, is it doesn't bring them down to parity with everything else. It makes them worse than all the other priests in the game.
Yeah, I don't care. They're still too cheap, so like it's probably fine at that point. Because
Okay.
I mean, like, because like they're priced as like at the point of maybe skink priests. Like yeah, they're like right around skink priests, and I think the corn priests are more expensive than them, and they don't do as much, or their prayers like aren't the same. So I don't know. Like yeah, they might be the same, or they're either the same or worse than everyone else, but probably just the same when they're pointed appropriately. So like,
I mean, so this is the other point to point out, right? Is that they are really good anyway, the priests.
yeah,
And one of the things that we haven't seen in this change here, yeah, this is really important, is we haven't seen Morgweath in any way FAQ'd. So that is a 80 point slaughter priest, slaughter queen? No, she's not that. Hag queen. Hag, what is she? Hag? She a hag? She a princess?
hag priests, hag lady,
Hagess? No.
hag
What
queen.
is the word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've definitely played this game before. It's okay.
Yeah. Anyway, she's 80 points, but her crew, her attendants, are also included in that 80-point cost. So very, very effective. Yeah.
The DPR.
Yeah.
No big deal.
What about? So we thought maybe we would see some sort of FAQ or points increase there, but we have not. So yeah, she is free basically. So she's.
Did you see the one other change to the actual invocation?
No, what was it?
If it's more than 4 inches tall, Mega Gargants can't walk over it. I don't know how tall it is, but
Where was that? Where was that done?
They added that to the Mega Gargant FAQ.
Did they bring out a Mega Gargant FAQ today as well?
No, they just added that word into all of the long shank abilities for Mega Gargants.
Amazing. Okay. Amazing. Fuck you, Mega Gargants. Yeah, we've had a row all these years, and we're carrying it on.
It's even 4 inches tall. I don't actually know.
Warp Spider, thanks for resubscribing. Okay, so yeah, huge. That prayer change has been pretty massive, but maybe something that was needed, but probably not quite so harshly put in, right? I would say. Like, I think that the idea of a 90 point character doing 4 different buffs around it is obviously very strong. Skink priests want you to ignore this entire conversation. Just pretend it's not happening. Just be like, whatever.
Yep.
Like, yep. So I don't know. Like,
I don't even know what list you're talking about. It's all right.
No one cares. No one cares about the skink priests. Then there was 2 other pretty significant changes, really. The invocations not being prayers, that's really important. The other one is that Hagnar. Now, I know not a lot of people, all of the edgy lads were like, I'm not even running Hagnar anyway, whatever. Like, I'm not even,
Keltnar.
Keltnar, whatever, Calibron, like, I don't even fuck with Hagnar, so some people not bothered. But the 5-up ignore, so the DPR save, so the 5-up DPR that they have, but from the command trait on their Fanatical Faith roll, is not ignoring mortal wounds, which is a huge nerf. Massive.
Well, so like they actually just like said no, we didn't mess up on the wording. Is actually what that one was saying, because the static one that they have does apply to mortal wounds. Like the one that everyone gets does apply to mortal wounds. It's just the buff doesn't apply to mortal wounds.
So you get a 6-up against mortal wounds, not a 5-up against mortal wounds.
Correct, but the 5-up is against regular wounds. Yeah, correct.
Okay. All right, that's quite interesting. So you still have got
And,
that
like,
role.
Yeah,
Well,
and the wording in the rule actually does actually say that. They just clarified, like, yes, we did mean to say this, pretty much, which is interesting.
yeah, I still think Hagnar is good because of a bunch of
Yeah.
different reasons. Like all your towers move faster, but it is most importantly a nerf. Just call it what it is. It's not as good as it was before. It's a nerf. Doesn't mean they're terrible, but it's a nerf. And just to quote Gitley, because he's a funny bastard, he said Hagnar to Hagnar. Love it.
God damn it,
about this
Gitley,
life.
stop it.
Yeah, go on, Gitley. You keep that up. There is no way that gets played in a confusing way. Says Shelf Loaded. Listen, I'm not. I'm whatever. Yeah, and so yeah, big shout out to Agile in the chat. Retreat and Charge subfaction still really good. Retreat and Charge Marathi is even better now because yes, Hagnar got worse, but Marathi's where is it?
Back up to Ren 2.
Back up to Ren 2, and she already slaps hard. She slaps hard. Ren 2 on her heart render. Kind of makes me laugh because we've got like a bunch of different kind of big spear attacks that we've seen in the past few like months. Obviously, you got Shalaxi with that one big spear attack, just one. Heart render's got 8. I think it's got 8 when she's like
it's like
at the
6
top bracket.
to 8 or something.
6 to 8. And then that's right, Lord Win. Mama Marathi fucks now. She fucks hard, is all I'm going to say.
Well, actually, she never stopped fucking, basically, because no one ever used the new book until we got this FAQ, as far as I'm aware. So she was Ren 2 in the old one. And
that's true. A lot of the tournaments weren't allowing new Marathi. So it's a good point. Although I think there was one event in Australia allowed new Daughters of Khaine, which
She's
I think
attacks. Fucking hell.
It's 8, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shalaxi 1, Marathi 8. Yeah.
3 damage a pop versus
Demon Bane.
3-6.
Demon Bane on the new alpaca riding Lumineth guy. 1. Yeah. So I mean, she's great. She's really good. Super strong. So yeah. So overall, is there anything that we think that we missed really? Morgwith points changes. You think that the battalion needed some changing? Like, do you want to talk to me about why?
Yeah, so Shadow Patrol before used to say that you could only get 1 unit per turn to teleport 9 inches away from your opponent, or anywhere on the table that isn't 9 inches away. And it like specified that it was 1 unit, and now Shadow Patrol sounds like you can teleport every unit in the battalion. Which, when you have 6 units, 4 of Heart Renders, 2 of the Brolocks, I forget their actual name, the like Warlock dudes.
Doomfire Warlocks.
Yeah. You get 6 full units of teleporting, so it's basically Chain Chost, where it went from 2 to 1. This one's gone from 1 to 6. like, I don't. Okay, I'm just.
Do you like that? Like, do you feel like so? Hayden,
we're gonna see 40 Heartrenders in lists. No joke. Like, it's insane. 40 Heartrenders will happen.
Hayden thinks it's dumb. How did that get through playtesting? Everyone else seems to. How does everyone feel about all the 6 teleports a turn?
Battalion, Rob, is so cheap. You can run more than 1. You could have 12 teleports and then run it in the faction. And you get another teleport every turn.
13
you
teleports.
13 teleports.
Fucking finger guns. I'm in. Yeah? They were like, okay, right, let me just measure these threat ranges. What are your threat ranges? Like, it's basically 9 inches because I'm going to fucking move.
These things that you bring to every game, you're going to have, like, I own like 10. You're going to have, you're just going to be like, all right, across the whole army. You're going to move your whole army from one side to there. That's it. That's the plan.
That's perfect. I want this. This is what I want. The commentating in this game would be amazing. It would be so fun. They'll be like, everything's there, but it's not at the same time. So, who knows? I love that. I think it's cool. Whatever. Like, I'm more in for the dumb teleport for you. You could make like you get some download a noise thing on your phone. It's like boo boo boo. The Star Trek teleporter every time. Just
I think at that point you should just play Darude Sandstorm because it'll have that noise on repeat.
Anyway, so that was one of the things we saw. We think we missed Morgwath, and also that battalion. Maybe it's something that could have been addressed. Maybe there's more. Maybe there's more intense. But I'm in for the beam me up Scotty list. Joe, let's write that list. I want it, and then let's talk about it on another show because I'm in. I'm in for dumb shit. So let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. Whereas there's just a grot oh my god, I hope I get offhanded gore. Come on. Let's go. I've got +1 to cast. That's all the grots have got. That one teleport. So overall, how do you feel Daughters of Khaine Twitch chat and Joe? How do you feel Daughters of Khaine came out of this? You think better? You think stonker, big stonks? Okay, fascinating. Yeah. What's everyone else saying? What's everyone else think? I'll send you one. Oh, please do, Hayden, you gorgeous fella. What do we all think? I'll wait for the Twitch chat and also podcast bros. If you want to tweet me, YouTube guys, leave some comments. But they came out sick. Give me some percentages: 33% better, 18.2% better, 44% worse.
Remember when they were 80% win rate was a thing? Yeah. Yeah, they're probably close to that again.
Wow. Okay. Leadfoot thinks they're probably worse. The clarification on the hag brew is also kind of pain. The clarification on the hag brew? I didn't see that as an issue. I thought that was just a clerical, in case anyone read it weirdly. Did you not?
Yeah, same. Literally, my note is who asked this?
Who asked this? Do I roll 1 dice for the Battleship community and 1 dice for reroll wounds? No, it's the same one. It's 1 dice roll, 2 effects, right?
It says on a 5-up you get this, and also on a 5-up you get this.
Yeah.
There's no reason to ask that question.
So you now have even less things to fear if your main source of damage are mortal wounds. Lumina Throne Lords. Okay. I thought I'd finished painting my army, and now I need 3 more units of Canary, says SFO Mongoose. Okay. As much
it's not even 3 more, though. The problem is, because Kaltnar gives you an extra free one, so you actually need 4.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So everything retreat charges, everything teleports, and then you get a free extra 5 pack. Okay. You're welcome.
I don't read it that you can. The reading I have. So there's a above the prayers. So in your Daughters of Khaine book, above that it says there's some text that says that additional prayers and you can chant one of those as well. I don't think that particular piece of text overrides this FAQ. So I feel like you can still only do a singular prayer, from your War Scroll or from
That's actually what it changed. That first sentence is the one that gave you the ability to cast more than 1, and now it's been changed to 1. So you literally only get 1 now.
This boy fucks. That's all I'm going to say. Right. But feel free to row about it in the comments because it upticks our interaction on YouTube.
I got nothing to do, man. I'll fight you all day on this. Let's go.
I'm not rowing. We're simpatico. Vince is in the room. Big love to Vince if you're watching this back. You're a fucking legend. Right, okay. So the demon. So Slaanesh. We saw some pretty pathetic FAQ from here. So we got the Hedonites of Slaanesh stuff. We got Godseeker's got reclarified +1 to charge rolls for any Godseeker units. Is that in case an ally was in the army and they also got an additional +1 to charge?
No, it literally didn't have the word 2 in that sentence. It said add 1 charge rolls instead of add 1 2 charge rolls in the book.
Okay.
They just missed the word 2 and they added the word 2 to the sentence now.
Right, then the Dread Pageant, they add the following melee weapon profile. So they've changed it. Haven't they just changed the Blissbar bow? Wasn't it shooting on? What was the difference?
No.
None.
No. That model didn't have a close combat attack. So now that model as a Blissbarb Archer actually fucks better than the unit of Blissbarb Archer.
I like this as a way to describe
because it has
stuff
2
now
attacks.
In this game. Nice.
Because it has 2 attacks versus the 1 attack with the knife. So the Blissbarb Archer on the Seeker Steed, going 18 inches a turn, 100 inches a turn, has less attacks than this dude just smacking you with his bow stick.
Perfect.
Because the other one the other ones have knives, so they fight 1 attack with the knives, and this one only has a bow, so he hits you twice with a bow instead. But it wounds and hits the same.
Did they have they changed the app so that Blissbarb Archers don't wound on a 1 yet in combat? Oh,
no.
Okay.
I've been told it's coming, but that's it.
Okay, that must be super intense to do. They've got to like fucking crank open the vault, and then they've got to wind up the machine that like where they type it in. They're like, it takes a few days, and then they've got to kick it. And if the special fucking power source that they use to power the whole thing up, which I think is like dried dragon bone, then they're not able to press 2 or 4 in this particular case. But
the Demon Fire Rift still doesn't have movement in the app.
Who does it? What, the Demon Fire Rift? Darkfire Demon Rift?
Yeah, it has no movement value in the app.
Okay, no dramas there. But so and then the Host of Celeste battle trait got changed. What do we see here, Joe?
Instead of it doubling your depravity as it did before, and now as long as you have Celeste and 1 mortal and 1 demon unit within 6 inches of him at the end of your hero phase, or at the end of your battle shock phase, you get 1 depravity.
Oh,
or at the end of any battle shock phase, not just yours. So
okay.
if you don't go first, your opponent, no matter what, you'll probably get 1 depravity if they don't kill Celeste off.
So just bringing it in line. By the way, Celeste, 11 out of 10 in my opinion.
He's fun.
Yeah.
Not as fun as it used to be, but he's fun for sure.
Yeah. I'm into it. And also, didn't they change his so you don't have to have equal amounts of demons and heroes in 18 inches, or is that not? That isn't the change that we've seen here. No.
That's not the change.
No, okay, they didn't change that. That's a change I feel they should have done. Okay, so that's it. Interesting. And then we got the designer's notes. We have had clarity now, which is quite nice, on the Gorge of Excess, which is the command ability for Gorgots or Scullion. And does Gorge of Excess command ability apply to the total damage inflicted by a Hedonite unit after all of that Hedonite unit's attacks have been resolved? The answer is yes. So let's say I do 10 wounds to a unit and that wipes them out. Let's say I do 30 wounds, but 10 of those wounds wipe them out. The additional 20 is what I can heal up, basically.
Yeah, I think the thing that it was clarifying is that all attacks happen at the same time. So even if you were running like, I don't know, probably a unit of Zangor has like one of the most attack profiles per unit. So you do like all 12 Great Blades, then you do all the dual bladed dudes, then you do all the shield dudes. If all the like Great Blade dudes kill the unit, you still roll out the rest of the profiles. They all happen at the same time. You wouldn't just stop at the first profile that kills them. Since they're all happening at the same time, you go through all profiles and then you heal all those wounds.
Yeah. Which is good. I personally think that's good. I think the book at least needs it to some degree. I think the command ability is pretty cool, and I was never reading in any other way. So yeah, that wasn't my interpretation. Was this way up? There's some clarification on whether or not, even though if you've got a Slaanesh hero on the board, can use the Feign to summon something from. The answer is yes. That's nice.
I don't know why that question was asked.
Me either, but someone. And can I still use the hosted chaos subfaction rules from Wrath of the Everchosen Slaanesh Army? The answer is yes, which is also some nice clarification. So, really nice there. So, the big question, I guess, is does anyone feel like there was more from the Slaanesh book / battle tome that was outstanding? I didn't think much of the battle tome was confusing. I just think it wasn't good. And I guess people maybe had their hopes up.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think the army is playable. Like you can play it, but it definitely doesn't it doesn't like to interact with itself. If I could have seen something in that army that was like if the army had stayed as potent as it used to be, but its locus, instead of being like you fight last, was if I kill you, you don't pull your model off till the end of the turn, because then you would generate depravity at the end of the turn. Still, your opponent would still get to use all their toys. Then you would still kill them, but they'd actually be able to use it and fight you back. I think that would have been better and along the lines of what they were trying to do versus what they actually ended up doing.
Because it's not very hard, right? So some of the things on-call GM saying, if I could have seen anything that buffed those bows, that would have been cool. They've with the Dread Pageant, they've included a War Scroll change, or they've rewritten it a little bit for the Dread Pageant right there, yeah. Mm-hmm. But after all of the dogging, there wasn't a single moment where they thought, do you reckon everyone is right about the Slangor? Literally everyone. There wasn't a moment they were like, oh,
they should be 40 points.
No, I'm not saying make them cheaper. They weren't just just say it was a typo. They meant to have 2 attacks. Just add 2 attacks on their melee profile. That's it. I'm not saying that makes them brilliant, but it makes them better. Like, they could have just, typo on the Slangor, +2 attacks.
Yeah, because, I mean, Marathi was written in the previous book and then rewritten in the Battle Tome to have a different rend, and now is changed in the FAQ to have back to 2 rend. So, like, literally, you could just say, actually, they all have to have these weapons. Like, cool, yeah, or extra range or extra attacks. Yeah, 100%. 100%. They could have done that, or make them 40 points.
Well, yeah, but I don't think. See, I think they would never probably do a points change, although they have done points changes before quite quickly afterwards. We've seen some significant FAQs. We saw a change host FAQ very quickly after the Tzeentch book launch. We saw some. We've seen very
Gaunt summoners from 10 pinks down to 5, like or
but that
any summoning of pink.
Yeah, but that took months as opposed to like.
Well, it was quickly after the Legion of Average, like once the Legion of Chaos Ascendant came out, that's when that dropped. Is they were like, no, 10's too much. I think.
I know, but what I'm saying is they never admit to a mistake. But you could have in one of these been like, oh, by the way, guys, we meant to give Slangor like +2 attacks or something. Do you know what I mean? Like they could have secretly buffed the whole army and been like, just typos, like we're so sorry, any of that, or changed a couple of bit of wordings on some of the units. I think one of the things being pointed out there is by Uncle GM is the Shard Speaker's ability to work outside the combat phase. Would that really break things? Probably not. So they could have been a bit cheeky, I think. Do you know what? I wouldn't even have minded the Keeper command ability affecting itself, and that being a typo.
That might actually have helped fix the book. Actually, yeah, 100%.
I wouldn't have minded that at all. I'd have been like, do you know what? Fair play. Crack on. It already exists in the game anyway.
The Dread Pageant, the thing with the Dread Pageant is they literally fixed that War Scroll by giving the shooting model a close combat attack. That bow is still on every other Blitzbarb unit. Imagine giving current Blitzbarb, on foot, an extra 2 attacks with their bow stick.
What, we're in combat? Yeah, that's an interesting change,
because that's what they did. Because that's what they did to the pageant. So if they just made Blitzbarb archers 3 attacks in combat and they're 160 points, cool, done. Yes, that makes sense. If they're 160 points, they're going to shoot you twice, then they're going to beat you to death with their 3 no rend attacks in combat. Sure.
You have to remember. You have to remember. By the way, if you're someone new who's never listened to before for some reason, it isn't a conversation to make something broken. It's to make something that works. It's that simple. Just something that works.
Because they won't even be broken, right? Because they're still 160 points, and the Lumineth archers are 140, and they have 2 attacks in combat, and are wizards, and have a higher threat range, and do mortals.
A better save, better bravery, better access to buffs. There's basically no buffs in the entire Slaanesh book. There are none. You can't buff your own army. It's mental. It doesn't work at all.
The one battalion that does buff them is a minimum of over 1,000 points. So
with combat characters, it's so weird. Anyway, so yeah, I think I can understand Slaanesh players is disappointment in the FAQ that Games Workshop wouldn't even just nut up and make a small confession that something was wrong. And try to change a couple of the little bits there. Do you know what?
I've played Slaanesh. I get it. I've played Slaanesh. I get they were bent and broken before, but what they've done to it is just, it's just not good. It's barely playable at this point.
Yep. Now let's not talk about barely playable. Let's talk about fucking super playable. So those are the FAQs. Make of them what you will. I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments. If you're watching back on YouTube, down below, tweet me some thoughts and comments, any of that. You guys are great for and everyone in the chat. If you've got anything you think that needs to be raised and we haven't talked about already, I want to hear it. But we also found out some Lumineth rules today, and oh boy, as a long-time Lumineth Loomlords player, yeah, am I happy about these changes. What
a pronunciation of that too.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate you. Right, so. Let's talk about this. So the Huracan models, which is the Archer Rue Riders, and also probably the Camel fella. They have got a new ability called Move Like Wind. When you make a pile-in move with a Huracan model, it does not have to finish the move at least as close as the nearest enemy model. This is the first time we've seen this, other than a one janky War Scroll on potentially some Swift Hawk agents. like from the beginning of Age of Sigmar, and if you bring that up, everyone thinks you're a bummer. Like everyone thinks you're lame. Don't talk about it because this isn't because it was on like an on-foot character or whatever in an army that didn't work. This is on a cutting-edge top-tier unit in a top-tier book. So different conversations. So you don't have to pile in towards the closest model, yeah. But then you but if you did charge in the same turn, the unit can fly and it can pile in 6 inches, which is wild. Wild. What do you think of this?
That's insane. Like next to broken is like actually though. Like I don't even know if these guys are gonna do combat.
Go on.
Like that's nuts. Like people are like, oh, Archaon like piling in 6 inches, or like a Bloodthirster piling in 6 inches for whatever reason. Like this is actually terrifying because if you thought that like not fighting or like this is basically the old Slaanesh rules where that you just could never fight them because they'll just hit you and then leave, or you'll be like, here's my screen, and your screen will literally have to fully surround a target to protect it. Otherwise, they'll just go to it anyway.
Well, so
basically, this is basically that terrain thing that you posted the other day, where those eels like charged over that the terrain that would be like difficult for everything else, but since they flew right over the top, killed all the heroes, and won the game. This is basically that, but it's going to be everywhere.
Hey man, I like it. Like so, because
it's really good. No, it's really good. Like I'll use this for days. Like I wasn't planning on getting Lumineth, but maybe I will. Like maybe I will be a long-time Lumineth player. You don't know.
Yeah, one of the things for me that I think is really important, like, is that how you write a rule. Let's talk about it for a moment. This isn't a combat unit unless, as we talked about yesterday, they give the kangaroos like absolute like gut punch kicks. Like damage 4 kickaroo or something.
I mean, Skyfires are like that. I could imagine these things being the same.
Yeah, like like not D3 attacks, but just like a flat couple of attacks with like a roo kick, and it just like smashes. I'm really into that idea. But as a rule, I quite like the idea that they're because I was like, how would you write a light cavalry war scroll? Because they're meant to be really fast, right? So they're meant to like skirmish, run up, shoot into the enemy, and then but not get caught by the enemy. But how do you write that rule? Because currently I move, then I shoot. So the only thing I could think of was like move, shoot, and then move. But like the rule is you have to end up further away to an enemy than you started with. This is much different. This is much different than that. I think it doesn't. I don't know if it captures that spirit, but I can kind of see what they're going for. They're trying to get the idea that like if you charge, let's say I have 2 units of 5 and I set them up as screens, I charge them, I attack one, but the other one's going to run away. Because I'm going to pile out 3 inches, and then you just you can pile in 3 inches and do some attacking to me. But I think where it becomes very, very strong is when obviously I charge you. So I charge you, and then I pile back out at like 2.99 inches. And so then in your next movement phase, you have to retreat or like pile in. So I can make your pile-ins. And this isn't an army that's got so much control already. Goad in Arrogance, the spell that means you can't move. And that's the only things we've seen so far. So, I mean...
And you can take sharks in this army.
You can as well, so just stop stuff piling in. So, I think being able to control movement is very significant already in this army. And here's another version of controlling movement. So I think the rule is diamond hands, baby.
No, for real. And at the same time, this army has... But unless you took the other cav, this army didn't move very much. Movement 5, movement 6 with those spearmen and archers, and now all of a sudden you have a unit that actually wants to charge your opponent, is going to be fast enough to get there, and then also it won't be fighting, so your actual archers can take their time moving up the table. The spearmen can take their time moving up the table because these things will be right in the way.
Yeah, however, Shelf Loathing makes an amazing point. Remember, Lumineth get double activate in combat, so when you charge 2 of these, they get to do their trick one after the other. So you get 2 activations because of speed of light. That's a great point, Shelf Loathing. That is so good. That is so good. And can I just tell you, can
you imagine having a battalion with this? like the LZARC one with like the Liege and the 2 cap units. I'm like, if these things have anything similar, it's over.
I love this. Because
It's so
honestly,
good.
if Age of Sigmar is going to be dominated by anything, I understand it could be the big corn dragon and it could be a big bloodthirster. At the minute, it's
It should
obviously
be the
that.
Corn Dragon.
Yeah, at the minute it's obviously that like desiccated toad. But I like the idea. Like people are like, what game do you play? I play this game and I keep playing against kangaroos and they keep beating me. I'm all right with it. Like it's kangaroos, man. Like I'm like whatever. It's very strong. And like to be serious for a moment, there's probably some significant MPE there. People are going to shut your army down. Owen pointing out in the chat, obviously with Speed of Heesh doubling the movement of a kangaroo rider unit, move 16 doubled 32 inches, and then a 6-inch flying pile-in wherever they want.
After a charge.
Yeah, so 36 inches plus 2d6 charge plus 6-inch pile-in. Pretty good.
They fight after the pile-in, obviously. So, like, that's a huge threat if these kangaroos have any sort of kick whatsoever.
Like, yeah, that's what I'm like. I want 2 attacks, 4s and 4s. I want the unit to be like 180 points, and I want us to all walk away being like, oh, this is nice. We already definitely know who's written this book now. This is the Sin guy. So now we know. So this isn't going to be the only one of these rules. Streamlabs, thanks to Wolfpriest Kajal for resubscribing for 23 months. Big love to you. They're not kangaroos. Roos keep their feet together and have much bigger heads. These are fluffy Galomimus? No idea. They have to be within 3 inches to charge at least. I mean to pile in. Yes, at least Planchette. At least there's that. That's small help and wonder. But you could just teleport all you guys out of the way, Joe, with your Daughters of Khaine.
Yeah, you could. I mean, maybe not with that because these things' threat range is so far, but like probably
it's only the whole board. Really excitingly though, when the boards are only 44 inches by 60, yeah.
These guys will actually get a rule in AoS 3. They could charge your like the other tables. They just like they go.
Does anyone? There's some Aussies in the chat, isn't there? Does anyone know how to? How do you deal with kangaroos anyway? Right now in Australia, because we need some lessons quick. They can't even deal with
emus, I heard.
Yeah, well, they can't fight emus, but maybe kangaroos are easier. I don't know in the animal world who ranks where.
Yeah, it's
true. So with all of today's rules, you could throw 2 units of roos away, and your enemy might not move for the first 2 turns. Says Atcoin. Yes, it's S tier rules. Like it's top tier.
And then when they got to you, you'd have the emo lady who would stop them from moving again.
Yeah, you could throw that in as well. Yeah,
nailed it. Perfect.
Okay, nailed it. By the way, Lumineth stonks to the moon, to the moon. So which is good. I like all of the Aussies are going to be just because they all want to get the kangaroos are just going to be throwing them at each other and no one's moving. Just a whole board of just like we're not in. Right, okay. So then there's also a D3 heal spell, whatever, but also pretty rough inside. Having Teclis be able to heal D3, or any of the Mountain Men heal D3. So there's a D3 spell, a D3 healing spell. Because there are 2 new spell laws, or at least 1 new spell law coming. We don't know at the moment. Okay. Yeah. I think they said it's 2. So Teclis is going to have access to those 2 as well. So Teclis is going to have 24 spells to choose from, which so that won't
imagine being an army based on the like creator and god of literal magic and then being some fucking elf.
Lord of Change just like hope I roll well. Let's go. Right, okay. Then you've got the Grand Wind Rider. Replace the General's Wind Leap ability is if a friendly wind charges unit starts to move wholly within 24 inches of this general, when it makes that move, the unit has a characteristic of 16 and can fly. I wonder what their move characteristic is already. Because I would have expected something 14. Like 16. So, like 12 to 14?
Probably 14.
But that is going to require... The important point is that requires the general... replace the general...
Wholly within 24, Rob. That's the whole table.
It's a big buff range. Wholly within 12, saves the Darkness guy, just like trying their hardest. The Shard Speaker, like, oh my god, I'm going to run forward, hope I live, and then next turn, if you moved wholly within 12, you're fucked. Those two writers need a word with each other. Just be like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, doing wholly within 24. He's like, that's so weird. I was doing wholly within 12 inches of their turn. That's like, we just... Anyway, that's good. Do you like that rule? It's strong, right?
Same points. Actually, mine is more, but, whatever.
Okay.
What is this?
On the topic
my favorite relic, one of my favorite relics is next. Literally.
This one. What, the Wind Blast Fan?
Yeah, incredible.
Once per battle, at the start of the enemy movement phase, which is really fun, you can pick one enemy unit within 3 inches of the bearer. That unit must make a normal move and must retreat.
Not my favorite. At the end of the movement phase is interesting, but I love this relic. It's great, I think. It was in an army that has shit relics. It's great.
What do they mean by "and must retreat"? So that's only if you are engaged in combat, you must retreat. Otherwise, it says once at the start of the enemy movement phase, you can pick one enemy within 3 inches of the bearer. So you within 3 because I must be in combat because I'm within 3. Okay, never mind. Right, so you just basically get to make a unit retreat. I think that's harder to work than it sounds.
Yeah, you're probably gonna have to have a screen unit to make it work really well. But depending on what this can go on, this is probably really good. And especially if the army can't charge out of phase, or if its Daughters of Khaine can't pile in, I think this is gonna be pretty good.
I think everyone's saying the hero could well be dead. I mean, they're gonna have the guy in the clouds not gonna be slow, is he? It's gonna be 12 to 14 inch move. So you could have him behind a unit of wardens or something. So you basically could if you're in Sire as an example, have a brick of wardens. They charge you. You're -1 to hit. You double stack your Aether Quartz, so you got +2 save. Then they hit, they do no damage, and then in your next turn, they hit, and in your turn you can attack them. I mean, 20 wardens are just going to delete you anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So, I guess if they get the double, then you make them retreat, I guess? You're not throwing them in, surviving.
I think what this is for is to get people off your archers, actually. Yes, it's in their turn, but if you force someone away from your archers, if they're if you just put your archers in a corner, this guy is sitting in the middle, where if they're in combat, they're within 3 of him, then you force them away, it'll help keep the archers alive.
Echoing's come up with a good point in the chat. You could throw the ruse in, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, because the other one has to still be. No, I guess you could.
It also depends on who this can go on. It is the actual interesting part. Because we don't actually know who this goes on.
Well, I think it's going to be on Cloudman with the fan, right? I think is what it's going to be. But as an example, you could potentially throw the ruse in, retreat right next to your fan man, basically. So if the enemy wants to pile into the closest model, they're going to pile in towards fan man and the ruse. Then you're just in 2.9. Then in your next movement phase, they can make you retreat. But you kind of want that, so I think it's redundant. The ruse are the huge winners. Ridiculous winners out of this.
I'm super excited to run those around the table.
Are you going to get some?
Probably. We'll have to see what the rest of this book entails, and I'll be posting about it on Saturday. But it's going to be depending on what everything else is and what their points are. If it's anything like their old points, it's just going to be the books. The books going to the moon is really what's happening.
The important point is the abilities are already good. So, I was thinking about the points earlier on and thinking about the ruse, right? The ruse are on, quite small bases, so, maybe there'll be 2 or 3 wounds. I feel like they're going to be 3. I thought maybe on Monday there would be 4, but I feel like now it's probably going to be around the 3 mark. So you're going to get 15 wounds out of them. Then maybe they won't have a 4-up save. They might have a 5-up save, but probably have a 4-up save. Who knows? They're like Cav. And I was
they have other cords, so they could have a 4-up. Or a 3-up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was wondering what I would pay for them points-wise and that ability, and I was like, do you know what? I'd pay 180, 160 for that ability, straight off. As 2 skirmish units, I to have.
You could pay 220 for those and be just fine. Skyflyers were 210, 220, and still solid. Now you have more models in the unit. It's unreal.
And it's also unique, right? It plays very significantly. I think one of the things that the Lumineth army generally struggles to do is to push out. I was talking about this the other day. I was saying Dawn Riders, that pocket unit of 5 Dawn Riders, I think do so well. These do a different job, and that's what's really interesting. You could have a pack of Ruse and a pack of Dawn Riders, and you could be like, right, I want to go blend over there, and the Dawn Riders will do that. Your Dawn Riders will absolutely go do that. So off they go and they smash. You activate both at the same time, so then your Roos have locked up the other units so they're not moving. And then your Sentinels and whatever else at the back of the board, your Bolt Throwers, whatever, are just firing. Your Wardens are slowly moving into the middle of the board. It's so dynamic as an army. There are so many options, and we haven't even seen all of the book yet. Like, it's very exciting. If I was a Lumineth player,
hot take right now.
Yeah.
Hot take right now. Either this Cloud Boy or the Rue, like the Rue King, makes either Dawn Riders or the Rue's battle line without needing Wardens.
I think it's gonna be the Rue, not the Cloud Man. I think it'll be the Rue guy, basically, like the Camel Man.
But getting rid of the need to take Wardens and taking all these cavalry instead just increases the speed of the army so much, which personally I think was the only time that army like struggled was its speed, and all of a sudden it's just like it's going to go from a 6-inch move army to a 30-inch move army like that, and you're not going to be able to touch it because those horses will clear any hordes you have. The Roos will deal with whatever else they want. Like we're talking about these guys being moved 16, right, with fly, and being able to go 32 inches and then charge and then pile in like another 6. That's not including their bows.
Well, so yeah, we didn't even talk about their attack. We don't know their attack profile. Is this how important it is? We already, like, we talked about it. We don't know what the bows do, like, and we're excited for that. Could be great, could be medium, but already we don't care because that ability is already so good that I'll pay for it all day long. It's like the Sharks, right? The Sharks have got the net launcher. You're like, sweet. And like, actually, they're pretty good in the fight as well. You're like, oh, nice. That's like just free, I guess.
I was taking them anyway.
Yeah, I'm taking them anyway for one ability. Like, and I got the Shark, and then, so that's awesome. And then, so yeah, and we don't know if the Rue attacks are going to be good either. So they could end up being like a kick-ass combat, well, not a kick-ass combat unit, but like, you know, Shark level kind of combat output at the same time. But then I feel like that probably they don't want to be too good in a fight because then their points are going to hike up. And you also really don't want to fight with them. I don't think you really want to move block. That's the key part. Also, you charge and move 6. That's massive, right? Because it's a massive charge. So let's say, like, that someone's put up a really nice screen and kind of blocked you off, and you haven't got speedy heat off. You're just moving 16 or whatever, right? Only. So you move 16, you do your charge, you get in, and you pile in 6. You can still make a huge, like, net because it's 5 models on an oval base.
Roman's just going nuts with these bits. But,
wait, what's happened?
Yeah, but like, or is it bits or is it like?
No. He's just saying, don't be fools. It's exactly when EOS came out and they warped them out. This is just a new thing. It's going to be so good. Thank you to Edius Knight for subscribing.
They're also not like a 3 per unit. They're a 5 per unit because they're
so
like they're 5s in all their stuff. So yeah, that's going to be nuts. But yeah, they are going to be eels, but like times 10. Like maybe not times 10 because eels are still insane, but they are meta shifting enough to where like if these count as flying all the time, like does that rule give them fly all the time, or is it just when they move?
Just when they move. Just when they pile in.
No, the Grand Wind Rider. The general makes that move. That unit has characteristic of 16 and fly. So what's actually interesting about this is that, like, since they gain fly, as long as he's wholly within 24, these Roos can literally pin KO in the corner.
That's a great point.
KO can't, like, escape if you fly. So this guy just goes, sweet, I'm going to sit in the middle of the table, and the Roos go, land on him. Just like that.
I would bring a hand fan with me to events. And I'd be like, one moment, and just put it in my opponent's face. Just have wind buffeting them as I move my Roos 36 inches.
Have you seen that fan on TTS that you can like make the trees shake? You can like make palm trees shake with the little fan. It's the same thing.
All right, well, Joe, this has been real fun. Twitch chat, thanks for joining us for an impromptu show, which we've just randomly put together. I mean, the FAQs, I'm interested to hear all your takes. Obviously, we've just grabbed the information today. I don't know what to tell you. I can definitely feel people will be disappointed or, like, in some of the bits and positive on not the Slaanesh stuff, ultimately. Now, there is generally a positive like the Fat Cross ability getting better is good. I guess. And the Daughters of Khaine
I mean,
stuff.
yeah, it was like, and like it wasn't even better. It was just clarified, right? So like it's like the fact that it was clarified is good, but it didn't change realistically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Agreed. Whereas Daughters of Khaine sidestepped maybe some buffs, some nerfs. So we'll see. All right. Well, Joe, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Twitch chat, thanks for you. So Flukes a lot, thanks for resubscribing. For 41 months, you're a superstar. You got loads of new emotes in the chat if you want to use them. I hope you're all well in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to join me tomorrow. It was nice getting this out of the way today while it's just the hot news. It's just done. But if you do have any thoughts and you want to talk about it over the next couple of days, just always you can drop me messages. I'll be live tomorrow, obviously, for the stream streak and for the rest of the week. So it's going to be really fun. Tell you what, it's going to be some hot takes come Saturday. A lot of new shit is going to be good. And I'm on the hype train now, Joe. I think Lumineth top of the pile, maybe. So I think that's going to be quite unique. You guys are great. Thank you very much. Thanks to Joe. Thanks to everyone else. We'll go Patreon. Literally couldn't survive without you. So thank you. Podcast Bros love. YouTubers love. Twitch chat love. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.